quietest mic ever.
Well, the monitors are facing that way.
Oh, there it is.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Is mine on?
Good morning!
We hope you all did your homework.
Yeah.
I feel like we're teaching a class now. This is a little intimidating.
Books away, take out your Scantrons and a number 2 pencil.
Scantrons
Will
don't
be a
exist
pop
anymore.
quiz.
What is the stand?
And you have to go and buy it at the dang bookstore before you go take the test.
Ew.
Like, hey, do you want a grade? Go buy your own Scantron.
Loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
I hate college.
Sucks. Tables. We have tables. Let's flip them.
Yeah.
That was good.
FMA Smackdown.
So this is like an FMA panel.
Like an FMA.
It like one.
Something like an FMA panel. They get pretty red.
Yeah. The blondie that is not here, so that's why it is the most unlike normal FMA. The blondie ain't here.
I'm gonna start calling him that.
The blondie ain't here.
Blonde ain't here. Ain't really an FMA panel.
Should we go down the line?
Oh, yeah, right.
Who are you?
Hi. Just so you know, sometimes we work a lot. We don't get to see each other. So when we get here, we are kind of silly.
It's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in like a year. How was Spain?
We saw each other a few weeks ago. Should we just Q&A format it? Or introduce yourselves. Hi.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Crispin Freeman. I hope he doesn't mind because I say that at every convention. I mean to change it to another voice actor every time, but he's just the most fun. Anyway, I'm Caitlin Glass. Hi. Nice to meet you. And I play Winry Rockbell, and also her mom, Sarah Rockbell, and I did some directing on FMA Brotherhood. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Trina Nishimura. I play Lan Fan in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I'm Monica Real.
Yeah.
Panda thing. No, I'm J. Michael Tatum, and I play Scar in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. No.
Blondie, your hair's gone.
I know. Oh well. Oh yeah. No. So I'm really Kyle. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Actually, my badge says Hebert. It says Kyle Hebert. That is the most awesome bastardization of my name. Yes. Pronounced Hebert though. Little Louisiana French for you, I guarantee. So yeah, I voiced Vato Falman in FMA.
Yay, Falman.
Who's that? Oh, he's the guy who looks like Brock from Pokemon. Open your eyes! You can blind him with dental floss.
As a Japanese person at this table, I just have to say that's kind of
Awesome.
You two should all
Japanese.
Don't embarrass him.
Taking bets, $20, $30.
30 in.
I'm betting Caitlin will win.
Right, because I'm eating my healthy breakfasty thing.
Delicious oatmeal squares.
Yeah, it's good for your heart and to take down people enormously.
Also really good for your jaw.
Did you ever see that movie, the Stallone movie? Over the top! I love that movie. Did you see that movie?
No. It's not.
What?
We've covered 20 topics in 5 minutes.
So yeah, I guess we just want to open this up to questions.
Yeah.
And please don't feel you need to confine your questions to FMA related stuff. I mean that's all fine and good, and we love to answer your questions. But we like random too. I like random. They may not, but I love
I
random.
love random.
Yeah.
So it was good.
And it's early for us, so we're like, what? Sure.
Yeah, in Texas it's earlier, and in LA it's even earlier, so.
two of us at this table got in really, really late.
He took a red-eye to get here on Friday.
Yeah. The website says the 20th through the 22nd. I assumed 3-day con. I was wrong. It's okay, I slept yesterday.
I, on the other hand, am terribly rested. Had a lovely time with my friend last night. And
Yay.
saw a little bit of Buffalo.
Good deal.
I hate you.
Woo, you should.
I know I should.
Okay, I see one guy with his hand up and a phone. Do you have a question?
Hey, can you all say hi to her?
Who's her?
My friend Chelsea.
All
Hi,
right.
Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. Oh, we're saying it right now.
Oh, take
Oh, we're seeing it. Hold it to the monitor. There you go.
It's just like the Price is Right. He's like,
Oh
Okay, you're just gonna pass it along.
We're gonna
Maybe one, two,
wow.
three. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
no! Hi, Chelsea.
Questions. Hands up for questions. Anybody?
Don't be
Sweet
shy.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for
I hope to collect all of you this weekend.
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know what that means. You're not part of the cool
It's
club.
like,
You don't know.
it's like Pokemon. You collect little me avatars on your.
You're collecting souls?
I don't even have to meet you. Yeah, the 3DS recognizes other 3DSs and it absorbs the little avatar info. So it's
Yeah,
like there's a
and
little.
you can win like pieces of little puzzle games and stuff. The more people you happen to go by.
I want to see
It's
what
pretty
you're
rad.
at.
It looks like me.
That's really the only reason my husband comes with me to conventions is so he can bring his 3DS and get lots of street passes.
I've got 700.
Yeah.
Like from Australia, Ireland, England, here, all over.
It does kind of creep me out. It's like you're collecting people's information.
Well, not
But it's
not
the
like
information
entire
that
information.
Oh, it's not.
What's your address?
It's not like it scans your brain. It's like for breakfast, Trina had this. Yeah. Blood type, like this. That's what you type.
But it's not like where you live. Oh, you're so
You
cute.
can customize it. I made a little bald me.
Awesome. Questions?
Questions? Don't be shy.
Yeah, this is
Don't
the
be shy.
shortest panel ever. Okay, see y'all later.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming. Oh, I see, with the green hair.
We'll get a soundboard. We'll have fun with this.
The easiest character for us to voice act.
Miss Anderson and Shin Chan. Because it's this voice. It's mine. It's me.
The role I didn't get, like. Because I didn't do anything. I guess the easiest. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just. Come back to me.
Whatever, like you'll have an answer when we come back.
Probably not. No.
I don't know that there's been an easiest. It's always hard to like pick one example, but I do a lot of adaptive writing for Funimation as well, and it somehow tends to be, in some respects, easier when I'm playing a role that I have written the adaptation for, because then I know exactly what I had in mind when I wrote it. So I'm like, oh no, I got this. I can make this good.
Dude,
Sometimes, yeah. No.
I was really close. I was like, on the beep, that was beep.
She and I are working together on a show right now that I've written. And we're both,
It's amazing.
It's a great show.
It's amazing.
No, you're amazing.
No, you're he writes some of it, so every time I see a line, I'm like, okay, so the pacing would be like this because Tatum wrote this. So everything is very deliberate.
Yes, and it's funny too. But sometimes when I'm in the booth working on performing a script that I've worked on, it's harder because the one thing an actor sometimes needs is the ability to blame the writer for why they wrote it. Oh, this is crap. I can't make this fit. Oh, I wrote this. Never mind. So it's my fault on the way up and the way down, and I gotta go out.
That's
So
what she
that's.
said.
Morning, Rochester.
Oh, okay. Easy voices. A lot of them. But honestly, the narrator comes pretty easily. Because people always come and say, will you narrate my life?
Coffee!
told you I have a soundboard. I'm willing to use it.
Where did you get that?
It's just a free app.
What's it called?
I did. Good question. Funbox.
Tell me right
You're like technical god over there today. You're like, I have a soul catcher and soundbox and an EKG reader and simulator.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's not what we can talk about enough. That guy is driving me.
Right in the middle here.
This is question probably cookies, pie, or cake.
What?
You have to choose.
Horrible question.
Take crust. What?
Cookies, pie, or cake?
Cookies, pie, or cake? Cake.
Cake.
Yes.
Cheesecake, I guess.
Cheesecake.
Kilo.
Pika, pika.
Question for Michael. Can you do in Scar's voice, your face explode and do the shake weight right?
Yes, I can. Next question. Oh god. Okay, what was the shake weight line? It's the oh, I just bought that new shake weight you see on TV. 10 minutes a day, every day. Hysterically funny to do. And what was the other one? The oh, your face explode. I was told to say that by Mike McFarlane. He was like, you have to say your face explode. Why? Just do it. Okay.
Just do it. Just do it. Yes.
Me? Do you need time to think? I've got answers.
Yeah, go on.
Do you need to stall for time?
Yes.
No, I'm ready.
Go.
Born ready.
Go.
Shoot. Michael?
I'm a big anime geek. I've grown up watching it since I was very, very little. Since before it was called anime here in the States, when it used to be called Japanimation.
Japan?
Yeah. But I was a kid, I didn't know what it was. It was just like, really cool spaceships and things blowing up and planets in peril, and this is so much better than... And, so I've grown up watching it, and I still watch it a lot, like even the stuff I'm not in, particularly because I know a lot of voice actors, both in Texas and LA and New York, and do a lot of stuff, and I get really intrigued by the projects they tell me about, and I'll go and watch it. One of my all-time favorite shows, period, of any genre, whether it's anime or live action or whatever, has been Cowboy Bebop. I go
Oh my god.
It's a fantastic show. I'm also recently beginning into Wolf's Rain, which is 12 distinct different kinds of badass. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of really, really cool stuff. Those are the two, like Wolf's Rain's the most recent example of something I've actually watched that I had nothing to do with. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah. Cowboy Bebop is like epic. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a cornerstone for me. For sure.
If I'll show Cowboy Bebop to friends of mine that don't understand anime, and if they don't like it, we are not friends anymore. What is Christmas card? I have to say.
No, right? I love Samurai Champloo. Do y'all like that shit? I've always loved that show. It's just beautiful. Those are my two favorites for sure. Do you think so-and-so from that one show that we can't talk about is like that?
Yes.
I think so too. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
I told somebody, I was talking to somebody, I was like, that person is just like Ed. And in a minute, when this gets announced, y'all are going to watch it, and then you're going to be like,
Well, not in a minute.
months from now, when you watch it, and you're going to be like, oh, she's right, totally like Ed, like everything. Sorry.
One day we'll be able to tell you about the show. It's really awesome.
It's really
Is
exciting.
anybody else lost?
We'll explain when you're old.
No, yes, I do like to watch anime, though I haven't been watching a lot of it lately. I unfortunately have found that since I became a director, it is very, very difficult for me to watch dubs anymore because I can't turn off the director in me that wants to either do it differently just because every director has their own opinion, or if it's something that I directed, I want to go back and fix it. So I found that if I watch any anime anymore, it has to just be because I'm interested in the story, and I will watch it in Japanese. I'll watch it a little bit because I want to hear my friends, and especially if I know that, Kyle did something really awesome in this one show, so I'm going to check it out. But I can't continue to watch it for the sake of the story and actually be able to enjoy it if it's in English anymore, which breaks my heart. You have no idea.
She's not encouraging you to stop by.
No, please. Everyone is fantastic.
It's just a phase. You'll get over it.
Yeah, maybe I will. Like maybe I will. So, yeah. But apart from
it's
that,
hard, isn't it, to turn off
it's
the
really,
record
really
and go,
hard.
oh, you want to call up your friends and like I hadn't worked on the show in 3 years. Like, can you come in for that one more time and just lean on this for a little bit?
Bebop, I'm bored.
Yeah, I'm on board with the Bebop though, for sure.
Same thing with me. I converted some friends, not to anime, but they're like, this is really awesome. And then I showed them some FMA too. It's like, this is really awesome. It's like, those really kind of transcend the art form. You know, the character and the story is so good.
And I'm always open to suggestions. I get new suggestions of like anime I should be watching at cons, and I love it because I'll usually if it sounds intriguing, I'll go and buy it and watch it. It's awesome. I figure, hey, it's research. Research.
Everything is research.
More questions. Let's see. I see this gentleman here in the front row.
What was your inspiration for entering voice acting?
Are we all going to be honest?
Honest?
No, I'm gonna lie.
Just kidding. Inspiration for, like, why did we become voice actors, you mean? Oh, because it's fun. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mama was broke.
No, it's not. It's not money. Please
not,
don't.
no.
It's not. No one does this for the money.
But when you're just a struggling actor and an opportunity presents itself, whatever it is, like, hey, be in this independent film. Hey, do this cheesy thing. Hey, do a voice for a cartoon. You go, all right.
Hey, put on this Roadrunner suit and walk around the mall for hours and hours. Okay.
Yes, I will do that. It doesn't mean that I didn't want to be a voice actor before. I did, but I was not, I'll be honest, actively pursuing it. I was pursuing a degree in theater, and I was gonna, I don't know, go get a master's and live on the stage for the rest of my life. And then it just so happened that I get to hang out behind a microphone instead. So.
Yeah, I was in college and broke. And I had like 18 jobs, and I'd been acting my whole life, but I was going to be a lawyer.
That's a great job for an actor.
Law and order.
I hire you.
I was going to be a lawyer.
Stop it. No, you'd be great. I mean, I teach little kids, and sometimes their parents come and pick them up, and I know that they're lawyers, and I'm like, you're a lawyer? Or look at the child and go, a lawyer produced you?
So in other words, you can totally do it because the bar is pretty low.
No, I'm saying she exceeds the bar.
Thank you.
That's wrong.
I would hope
It's
you.
pretty easy bar to exceed.
It's like a step, not a bar.
I would totally hire you. You'd be one of those lawyers that has like a TV show, like you take the really tough cases, like this person's obviously guilty, but they have a good reason for being guilty. You're gonna like totally help them and their family.
Yeah.
Kick ass, take names.
I wonder
can see
what-
that. Could you not see her being like on an A&E show or something?
I wonder what outfits I would wear. I wouldn't want to wear like power suits. Power suits are lame. Oh, so I was going to be a lawyer, and I was in college, and I had like jobs and internships, and a friend of mine who grew up with me in Amarillo knew that I was an actor, and he was like, do you do any acting anymore? And I was like, no, not really, I'm going to be a lawyer. And so he was a sound engineer, and he was like, well, if you want to make some extra Skrilla, you should come in and audition. So I did, and I got cast, and then I was like, this is really fun. And then I met some really awesome people who have turned out to be really good friends of mine. I've met like 3 of my best friends through Funimation, and so I went for the Skrilla, and I stayed for the fun and the friends. The fun.
I had. So I guess my story's kind of long and perilous. I'm trying to tell a short version of this. I got into acting generally when I was a kid because I had a really debilitating speech impediment when I was young. And it was so, I know, I've been making up for lost time ever since. But,
Like now?
So,
I'm just kidding. I love you.
I was with you in an airport for 5 hours yesterday. Shut up.
That's what I was
Love
thinking.
you. speech impediment, and I had to take speech therapy for like upwards of 5 years, and we found that the impediment tended to disappear if I was reading from a script or like reciting something. As long as I didn't have to make up my own words, I tended to kind of break free of the stutter, which was very liberating in its way. So I kind of, and my speech therapist had a background in stage and music, and so she kind of got me into the theater community, and I did a lot of stage work when I was young, up into my teens and early 20s. And then just kind of, when the time came to make the decision whether I wanted to do it for a living or actually do something that made money, I kind of just wussed out and said, no, I'm just going to do a normal 9-to-5 job, which I did. I was in a whole different career for like almost a decade, and had completely given up on acting. I mean, I loved it. I had the fondest memories of my life were from being on stage and from things like that, and from the friends I'd made, but I just was not an actor anymore. And then Christopher Bevins with Funimation, I met him through some mutual friends, and he became part of just this broader circle of people I hung out with. He's been directing and writing and acting for Funimation for, almost 10 years now, I think, if not more. And at the time I met him, I knew what he did, and I thought it was really, really cool, but I never approached him about work because, as I said, I didn't consider myself an actor anymore. And so for 2 years, he was just this guy that would come over and we'd be comic book nerds together. He'd fall asleep on my couch all the time. And so he was just a buddy. And then one day, out of the blue, he just called and said, hey, I'm working on this show. You want to come in and audition for me? And I was like, no. And it was Samurai 7, for those of you that are familiar with the show. And he's like, I have you in mind to play Pikachu. And I'm like, that's an awfully big part. I don't know. And I was flattered, but I just was terrified of the idea. I'm like, and I'd never done any voice acting, never any mic work, so I had no technique. All my experience was stage, and so I was like, it'll just be a waste of time. Thank you, but no thank you. And for 2 weeks, the bastard just hounded me. So not take no for an answer. And he goes from being like this nice, laid back, hey, what's up kind of guy, to being like, I'm gonna hold you at gunpoint. I'm gonna go after you with a tire iron. I'm going to stuff you in the trunk of my car, and one way or another you're gonna audition. Just get it done, shut up, or whatever. If you suck, we'll laugh and never speak of it again. Just get up here. And he lied and was like, no, you're not gonna get the part. I just have to fill a certain quota of people that have auditioned for this role, and you're just helping me out. You're just a placeholder. So I'm like, okay, will you leave me alone then if I do it? And so I came in. It was like a 4-hour-long audition. And we're like, I'm learning, and it's like Bevan's boot camp, as you've been.
That's hard.
I know, and it's like, and Bevan's is intense. It's like getting yelled at by a drill instructor. Why do you suck? Why are you ruining my show? And so for 4 hours this goes on, and he's teaching me
how long an audition usually is.
It's like 10 minutes, maybe, but I had no idea, no frame of reference for how this sort of thing worked for Funimation. So after like 4 hours of this, we were like matching, the mouth movements, what we call flaps. And like learning how to read like all the technical stuff in a dub script, which is different than any sort of script I'd encountered before. And I'm just like afterwards just sweating bullets when he's like, all right, out of the booth. And when I'm done, I'm signing all these little NDAs, and I'm like, confident that I have sucked and he will now leave me alone. He kind of smiles, and I'm like, can I just ask a question? How the hell do you people get anything done if it takes you 4 hours to audition every single role? And he's like, it only took 10 minutes, actually. We've been recording the first 6 episodes. You're now an actor. Sign here. Come back. You son of a bitch! That is how I got into voice acting. It was just sort of thing I did on the side for a long time, and then slowly but surely I started having more work. I was approached about being quieter and directing. And I just loved it so much, and the continued inspiration of why I still find so much joy in it is because, unlike stage acting or other sorts of acting that I'm accustomed to from my experience as a young person, voice acting is really cool because you can do so much more with the range of your voice than you can with the way you look. Like, for example, no one will ever cast me to play a 17-year-old boy on stage. Not unless the rest of the cast are giants. But I can pull that off, with my voice. And so I feel like I have a greater variety of roles available to play, or to at least try out for with my voice that I wouldn't even bother trying out for if it were a stage production or something for film. So it's really freeing, and it kind of allows you to explore your own sort of range of characters that you can do. And so I love it. There's no job like it in the world.
I feel really inspired.
Shut up.
No, I do. That's
I want to be a lawyer now.
That's my favorite story that you tell. That's a good story.
It's my only good story.
I think Kyle's background is different.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Because I wanted to do that ever since I was a kid. I wanted to be a voice actor. Watching Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, all that. Mel Blanc. You know, my dad tells me that one guy voiced all those things, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I wanted to be a DJ, too, on the radio. Not a, you know, like that kind of DJ. Back when they called them disc jockeys on the radio. I wanted to do that. So, because I was horribly shy, so I never got on stage because I was like, stage fright, and I couldn't memorize lines. But in voice acting and on the radio, your stuff is in front of you all the time. And to add to what you were saying, you're saying, okay, it's more liberating because you're not biased. You know, people don't judge you for the way you look in voice acting, or they shouldn't. You know, because like again, I can play a teenager, I can play a 40-something, an 80-something, whatever, all over the different range and everything. And so I got a degree in radio, TV, film, and ended up working for ABC Radio Networks in Dallas, and ended up on Radio Disney for years. And then heard about auditions at Funimation, got lucky, and been on Dragon Ball Z for the past 12 years. That doesn't suck. Because I was a fan of this stuff too. I grew up in the 70s before the word anime existed, watching Speed Racer and Star Blazers and Battle of Planets and Robotech, and Akira came out, and Vampire Hunter D, the original one, and all the old days. Yes. And so, yeah, that was just...
It was your dream, and you pursued your dream, and then you achieved your dream.
I did. I'm still working, but yes.
I feel like a jerk.
The world needs lawyers, Trina.
You be the defense attorney, I'll be the prosecuting attorney, and we'll totally, like, bust each other.
Cha-chunk.
That'd be awesome.
Like right now?
No. In real life.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Hey man, I'm not really prepared.
Neither am I, that's awesome.
Do you want to just get some coffee?
Yeah, let's do that. Your Honor, we need 5.
Your Honor.
Yes, more questions.
Wow, now everybody-
Way in the back, the very back row in the hat.
So what did your friends, family, or parents say to you when you wanted to be a voice actor when you told them about it?
They didn't really say anything at that point because I already had gone through college, was pursuing acting. So at that point, it was like I was an adult and I could do what I wanted. But I will say that when I was younger and decided that I wanted to pursue acting of any kind, and I'm sure any of you who did this or have tried this, you probably heard a lot, well, what's going to be your backup
plan?
What are you going to fall back on? Are you going to get a teaching certificate so you can teach it? And it's funny because I do teach now, but I teach theater to elementary kids basically for fun. And I teach ESL like as a job, but I don't consider that like my fallback. That's something else that came later. But yeah, my mom was really supportive, but it seemed that kind of everybody else in the family wanted to know, okay, so you're going to be an actor, and how are you going to make money? And that's a very valid question that every actor has to consider, but it really is hard when you truly want to do that, and everyone is just too practical for their own good to just believe in you. Just go, be an actor, go. Like, no one says that.
I believe in you for one round of headshots. Like, why are they so expensive? You know, like, that's how my family was. I believe in you until this point. And now, no, my family actually has been really supportive of me for my entire life. I'm very, very blessed in that. My siblings are great, and they're like, for the love of God, just talk to somebody else. Like, just go and act and talk to somebody else because you're driving us crazy. And then my mom's been really supportive. I actually just took a break to call her. She was like, oh, you didn't call me when you got there, and I'm just worried about you, and I want you to know that, because I was worried, like, what if they don't like me? And no. She's like, I just want you to know I'm very proud of you. Yeah, no, but there's always the, what's your backup plan?
Yeah,
what are you actually going to do? And I mean, I got my degree, and so they've been really supportive. All in all, my brother has been a Japanime fan for a long time. So I've been around anime a long time, and they're all really proud of me, and they're pretty happy. As long as I'm happy, they're happy. Because if Mom ain't happy, nobody happy.
That's the truth. Oh my God. My family's by and large been very supportive as well. I mean, when I was really young and theater was a way to kind of bring me out of my shell, which was such a problem when I was young, my family was thrilled that I found my way into it because they're like, oh, it makes you happy. Do it, you know. But I mean, my decision not to pursue it professionally when I had the chance to earlier was just my own thing. I was like, it's too hard, and I'm totally lacking in ambition. I have none. I am just not a very driven person. I never have been. So when I found it again, much later, my family were thrilled. They were like, oh my God, thank God you're back into something creative because we know you hated the job you've been doing for the past decade because it wasn't you. And I'm like, well, it's just whatever. I will say though, it's really funny. My parents, in particular, my mom, try to watch the stuff I'm in, and it's hilarious. Because my mom, first of all, can never pick my voice out of anybody. Even if it's just my normal voice, she'll totally, is that you? No, that's not me, Mom. I'm the guy with the red hair. Oh, so that one? No. And she's like, well, I'm your mother. I feel like I should know this. I don't know why you're not getting it. I don't know. Like, you know, the neighbors down the street are like, is that Michael? You know, but you... And it's funny, like, she just does not understand anime. She tried. God love her, she tries. She really tries because she wants to be supportive, but when she's looking at it, honestly, this is a real exchange between my mother and I watching, like, say, Holic. She's like, okay, now that's a face, but what's that, like, black triangle, like, down here? I'm like, that's the shadow of his chin. Oh, okay. Now I got it. It's like trying to explain a Picasso to someone who's never seen a painting before. Like, oh, that's a face. Yeah, and Mom is like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's like to her, it's like a magic eye painting. And she's like, oh, those are people and stuff and movements. Yeah, it's really, really funny. But they're thrilled, and they've always been very supportive. My family is very supportive in that kind of offhand kind of way. They've never been very like, no, you must do this, or we hate you. It's like, well, whatever makes you happy. You're a big boy, do it, you know. And now they're like, well, good for you. It's nice. They're kind of a hands off, but they're supportive in that wonderful, like, you know, we'll just kind of let you make your own mistake, or you know, have your own successes, and we'll support you either way, kind of thing, which is really, I think, my preference.
Yeah, I've been blessed that way too. My parents have said, you know, and it's odd because nobody in my family is doing anything creative or in the entertainment industry at all, except my cousin is a singer or something. But everybody else is like just doing their own thing. And my folks have been really, really supportive, and they said, you know, obviously be practical, have some sort of, you know, you need a day job to keep the bills paid, then you know, go find something. But yeah, they've been real champions, real heroes. And when people say, who are your heroes? Like my parents, they've been here, and it's been great. So, not to turn this into a Tony Robbins seminar, but seriously, when you find something that you're passionate about, and even if you don't know what it is yet, just try it. Try to take steps towards achieving that goal, no matter how small, because you'll always wonder what if, and that's worse. You don't want to regret.
The what ifs are the worst.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't work, at least you try.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There was this dress at BCBG once.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking, you have no idea, sir.
I don't. I'm just trying to.
What if?
Or can I see you?
That's a
Sir,
question.
there. Yeah.
Kid Icarus. I'm stuck. I haven't gotten that far. I'm so ADD, but that's what I have loaded in here is Kid Icarus, and I never played the original, and I got it, and it's quite fun. I gotta say, it's really nice.
There's so much in that little box.
I do.
It's delights. It's my soul-catching box. My ghost hunting box.
Yes.
My Kid Icarus box.
That's
I want
right.
one of those boxes.
Sound effects.
I don't have one. Is it time travel?
Everything in there.
Do you have the prices right? Thing?
No, but that's on my ringtones, actually.
Red shirt, all the way back.
We already asked him.
Oh, you already. Oh, you're the phone guy.
No,
Who
that's
has
Chelsea.
not asked a question?
That's Chelsea.
There we go. It's fun, right? In front. Yes.
Was there a performance or something which kept them on the project? Not yourself.
Why are you gonna be the guy that brings the room down? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Something that we didn't like.
We don't have to give you an example, do we? Can we just say yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I've caught like old episodes of the original series of FMA, and I was still a pretty new voice actress. And I listen to it and I think that I sound horrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I sound like that? Why didn't they tell me to not sound like that? Yeah. So yes, but I'm apparently a pretty lifesaver.
I've never directed a voice acting session, so I've always been an actor. I've done very little directing at all. So a lot of it's trusting your director and like being like, okay, like watching it later, I'm like, I don't know that was the right choice, but it's not for me to choose. You know, like actor shoes, not my choice, their choice. So if it stinks, I can be like, totally not my fault. I could have done so much better. So that's a nice out.
That's true. Well, and actors tend to be kind of obsessive compulsive about their own performances, and it's really hard to let go of. And there's a point at which, I mean, it's very hard. As much fun as I have in the booth actually recording it and working with people, which is wonderful, it's so hard to go back and watch stuff that I've done as an actor, because I pick apart everything I've done. And everyone else sounds wonderful to me, but for the most part, you know, everything I do, I'm like, why did they let me get away with that? That's a crappy read, you know? But it's I also realize that I'm not objective about it either, that obviously the director thought that was good, and you just have to let go of it and say, well, look, it was this works, and I just can't see it because it's me and I'm too picky. But you know, sometimes I'll watch something and I'll be like, oh my God, I hate my performance in that, but I will come back to it later and really like it. It seems like time seems to give me a little better perspective on it. But you have to go back and watch it. You have to study what you've done so you can kind of learn from yourself. But yeah, there's always stuff that you think, I didn't do that very well. And when in fact you did, you just can't see it because you're you, and being actors, it's very hard for us to just kind of go, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I've never met a single actor who's like, yes, everything I've done is amazing. Everything I have 8 televisions at home with like 8 different shows playing all at once at full volume, and I love it, and I just sit naked in my room watching it. No actor does that.
Oh, that's not nice. I love Troy.
Troy loves Troy too. I'm kidding.
I think he's awesome.
He's
We all love
awesome. We
Troy.
love Troy. We're not that
I never
He's just
know.
not here to defend himself, so it's fun to jab. But yeah, that's part of acting, is that you do need a director to tell you, shut up, reel it in. You're not as bad as you think you are. Just do it. And that's why it is so fun to just trust in your director. And so, you know, that's always the good thing. Just be like, yeah. I'll shut up. I'll turn off the little side of my brain that's like, you suck. And listen to the director going, it's okay.
We'll take that one. That's okay.
Yeah, we'll take that. Par.
The process is very assembly line. So, you know, we don't see the material ahead of time, unless you're the director or the writer. As the actor, all you know is, hey, can you come in next Tuesday from 9 to 1? I'm like, yeah, sure. And we show up, and the director says, hey, this is what's going on in the episode, and this is what your character's doing. And then, boom, we're off. And we do it line by line in order, do a DVD's worth of episodes in a session, or try to over the next couple weeks. And that's basically the little bubble you live in. And, you know, you're at the mercy of, it's like, all right, I don't know the context truly of what's going on. I'm seeing the line 5 seconds before I'm performing it and making it sound as if it's coming from my soul, and I trust the director to assemble it all like a big jigsaw puzzle. And at the end, hopefully, it sounds good. Of course, going back and watching things like, yeah, I kind of wish I had done that better. But, you know, time is money. And they have to crank these shows out at a super brisk pace, either to get it on Cartoon Network or to get it on DVD and Blu-ray and on demand and all that stuff. So we don't really get to take as much time as I'm sure any of us would like to really massage the performance and get it really, you know, up to snuff. Massage, I said massage performances. Trying to get the tension out and everything.
Over here, blonde.
Is there any character that you voice acted that you either thought was particularly like you or like nowhere near close to you, or like, in personality or how they do things?
Well, I played Monkey once.
That's actually answer the first part of that question? Because the monkey and I were just like simpatico. Like, got that monkey.
And I knew. Right here. Jeez. I feel you. Okay, anybody go first, sorry.
So somehow, people ask me frequently, like that don't know about anime or voice acting. They're like, oh, so what do you play? Like, do you have a voice? Do you have like a special voice? And I'm like, yeah. Somehow I always get like pinned, like what's the word I'm looking for? Pinned.
Pigeonhole?
Thank you. Into like the crazy girl. Like I don't know what that's about, but. Sir? I'm either like crazy girl or like little squeaky girl or like tough girl. Those are my three main things. So I think it varies. I think you give it a little. You relate in some way to everybody. So I definitely relate in some ways to every, except for that. Like maybe not Witchblade. I played a crazy evil girl who was in love with Colleen. And nothing. I mean, I have nothing against gay people or anything like that, but I'm straight, so that was a stretch. And then I also turned into like I'm just saying. No, I'm not in love with Colleen. I'd be more likely to be in love with somebody else that had more parts. But I know, like my arm turned. So I was at least like Shiori because she turned into this evil thing.
Okay.
Her arm had this impaler, which is funny because impaler, but she actually like. Doesn't matter.
I think that
What happened just now?
I really don't know. I don't want to be sitting here anymore. I'm hungry.
I think that it's we can often relate the most to characters that are maybe who we would like to be. And it's the opportunity for us to be them, and maybe our only opportunity, because so I really love playing, it's just going to make me sound dumb, but like the princess type characters, because they're always very noble. And I think that those are the ones that come the easiest to me. I don't know why. You just kind of tap into what it is that they're about. And one of my favorite characters is from a show that I did with Michael called Heroic Age. And I played the princess, and it was just fabulous.
You were great.
And I love her. It's not just I love that show, or I'm saying I was so awesome, but no, that she is incredible, and I really admire her.
Sometimes, and yeah, I'm with Trina. Actually, I think our job is to relate to every character we're playing, and that's that's the thing. Now, sometimes it's easier to relate to other characters as opposed to some others, and some take a little more imagination. Often, though, at least on two occasions I can think of, characters surprise you. At first, you think, I'm nothing like this character, so this will be fun. This will be, kind of wrapping myself in the mantle of something that's totally not like me at all. And as you get going, you realize, wow, this is inside of me. I am more like this character than I thought. That happened with Kyoya in Oran. And I related to Kyoya a great deal from the get-go. I'm like, I knew this character. I'm like, I know what he. And I got how he thinks and what he's all about, and why he is the way he is. And that often is even harder for me to perform, because in the case of Kyoya, it wasn't so much a character that I wanted to see myself as. It was more of this is who I was when I was that age, and having to go back and revisit being that person, which I had long since thought I'd grown out of, was kind of a bit of a trial. It was great, it was beautiful, I loved it, but we had some really emotional experiences in the booth together, Kayla and I, when she was directing me, because it was just, revisiting all these things that I'd experienced when I was a young man that, I now had fresher eyes to go back and see, and it was just very cathartic, and it was very difficult, but I loved it. He was a very, very difficult character to let go of once recording Wrath, and I still, he's still up here a lot and tells me what to do a lot. Comes out in public sometimes. All the characters do, but yeah, that's
I guess the dorky side of Gohan. I'm certainly not the muscle guy, so, but dorks, why not? Kamina he's kind of a dorky side to him too. Actually, great Saiyaman-ish Kamina, yeah. But yeah, you try to find something in you to bring to the performance, and ironically, I get a lot of parts where it's like, it's coming this way, and then I'm dead. So I can't really relate to that. I'm like, okay.
Now, handle that inner part where you got decapitated and set on fire.
Well, there's that time in kindergarten. Yeah, we were getting the sign that we need to wrap things up, yes? Because we have to... Can we do one more, like a speed run?
There's a signing.
Me and somebody.
Kyle and John St. John. Yay!
Hi! I didn't even see you up there.
Hi!
Holy crap!
Okay, so that's happening, and then later, what else is on the schedule today? I think Kyle and I and John St. John, I'm assuming, have a video game voice acting panel. That'll be pretty rad. And even later than that, there's a really cool informative panel. Hey, Oron. Sorry, about ADR directing. So that's me, Michael, Jamie Markey, the fabulous Jamie Markey. Fabulous. Yeah. You guys are great. Thanks for putting up with our ADD. What do they need to do since there's a signing? Everyone needs to leave.
Go back out and get in line for signing if they want to be signed.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Have a great con.